Denise. Denise. It's Denise. It's Denise. It's Denise. It's Denise. It's a podcast party. It's a podcast party. It's a podcast party.
I gotta say, I feel like we're besties now after this. What's up, guys? It's Denise Salcedo. Hey there, everyone. Happy Friday for those of you who don't have any plans tonight, like myself, and we're here to chat pro wrestling. Thank you so much for joining me. It is October 28th, Speak Now Pro Wrestling, and we are going to be chatting about WWE SmackDown and AEW Rampage. Now, I'm not gonna lie, today is going to be an easy breezy show because I only feel like there are a couple of things that we're really going to dive into, but then like a lot of what happened on SmackDown and a lot of what happened on Rampage is kind of not much to really have us like say much. There's not much to say about a lot that went down here tonight, but the stuff we do have to talk about, I think is pretty interesting. So I can't wait to get into that, especially because I'm already noticing in the chat that we're having a little bit of some disagreements on how we feel about certain things. So before we kick things off, I am gonna start the show off talking about SmackDown, and then we'll close it out with Rampage because there was just so much more to talk about on SmackDown. It's so weird, but I really, a couple months ago, I was sitting here saying, man, I'm so done with SmackDown, and well, at least there's Rampage. Now I feel the opposite. Oh my God. Now I'm like, yay, SmackDown. Man, nothing to talk about on Rampage. So I almost feel like it's Freaky Friday. It's totally Freaky Friday, and they've swapped. But anyways, before we get into all of that, thank you guys so much for being here. If this is your first time here on the show, thank you for checking me out here on this podcast. I appreciate you guys so much. If you are a regular, thank you for tuning in. As always, I know who you all are. Also, if you want to get your question, your comment, your statement, you guys already know the drill. You are more than welcome to send in a super chat at any point throughout the show as they help keep me funded. I really need to come up with a new way to promote super chats on here because at this point I have a monologue that I stick to, and even I'm starting to sound like a broken radio. Like I need somebody here to rewrite the way that I promote and ask for super chats. Even I'm getting bored of it. But let's see what we got here. And we got our first super chat of the night, and then we'll go ahead and dive right into SmackDown. We got a super chat here from Steven who says, we need a who can Sami make break character next. Dude, I'm so happy that our first super chat of the night is about Sami Zayn, or rather, Sami Uso, because that legitimately was the highlight of my night. Like, I cannot wait to talk about this because that was really like one of the best things that I had, that I saw tonight, period, in all 3 hours of the wrestling content that I consumed this evening. And we'll talk about that more in just a second, but thank you so much to Steven for getting us started here today. We got another super chat, another one about the Usos and Sami. This is from Mako Maniac, who says, Sami is too oosy. I think we're all feeling pretty oosy tonight. Thank you for those that are in the chat. I'm going to promote a bunch of oosiness here. Holy damn, this is a good day for super chats. Maybe I shouldn't switch it up how I'm promoting them. We got Chris Ludek. Hey, Chris, good to see you again on the show. Chris says, Denise, hope you've been doing well. Sorry I haven't been here lately. It's not too oosy of me. You know what? I got to dock you a couple of oosy points for being gone, but you know what? You got some back for being here tonight. Chris, thank you so much for being back here once again. And damn, Heidi Ho, the bot, another regular on the show. Thank you so much to Heidi Ho for sending in this massive super chat saying, haven't got to watch you live in a while, but I've been enjoying on playback, living that night shift life. Look, man, I don't envy you working the night shifts. I can't even imagine having to work at night because let's be real, I'm too lazy and I don't want to work at night. So freaking more kudos and props to you, man. And thank you so much for the super generous super chat. Seriously. And hopefully I'll help your evening go by pretty fast today. So thank you so much to Heidi Ho, as well as Chris Ludek. To shout out to both of you. All right, there you go. I'm gonna keep promoting super chats the same way I've been promoting them. YT says, just be like, give me money, guys. I'm broke. So every at the end of every month, obviously F4W gives me like my paycheck, and then afterwards they give me my super chat money. And there's some months where Tony will look at me and be like, Denise, what happened this month? And I'm like, I don't know. I have no idea what happened this month. And then there's other months where I'm like, woo! All right, I need to stop being. This is my biggest flaw, is that I'm too honest on these live streams. But let's get into the show, guys. We opened up the show with a pretty fun match that led to an even more fun segment, but we're going to kick things off with the match. This was definitely this whole portion of what I'm going to discuss first was the highlights of SmackDown tonight, and SmackDown was the show to watch tonight. We had Ridge Holland and Butch teaming up to take on Sami Zayn and Solo Sikoa. Now, for those of you who haven't watched the show in a bit, or you just came back, here's a quick gist. Ridge Holland and Butch, along with Sheamus. Sheamus got married today. He got married, I don't know if it was at the exact same time at SmackDown or before, a couple of hours. Actually, it was a couple of hours before. But he got married today, so congratulations to Sheamus, who's on like the high of his life right now. But Sheamus, Ridge Holland, and Butch, man, they have been freaking kicking ass on SmackDown. Sami Zayn is legitimately the MVP of WWE this year, and I will not take any other answer at this point. And Solo Sikoa, after his match with Sheamus, consider me a fan. So there you go. You're caught up on those four guys. But so for the match itself, basically what we had here, it was a fun little opener. Obviously, we need to talk more about the story, because the way that the match ended, there was conflict. There was drama, of course, between you-know-who, Sami Zayn and Jey Uso, who just do not see eye to eye, because Jey Uso absolutely hates Sami Zayn. And this conflict, this drama allows Ridge Holland and Butch to get the win, which I'm totally cool for that. I'm totally cool with that, especially because they also announced that at Crown Jewel, we are going to be seeing Ridge Holland and Butch against the Usos for the tag team titles. And now I know the Usos are going to win, but part of me kind of wants to see Ridge Holland and Butch get the titles, and maybe the Usos losing the titles will cause even more conflict and drama within the bloodline. And I just think that Ridge and Butch have been doing such a great job, man, that I would like to see them become champions and, spice things up a little bit, change things up just a tad. With that being said, we need to get into everything that happened afterwards, because this was legitimately good stuff. So one of my favorite things that we saw in wrestling this year, and one of my favorite moments of the year, was definitely that moment where it seems like Roman Reigns and the bloodline entirely was going to turn on Sami Zayn a couple SmackDowns ago. And we had Jey Uso literally ripping off his t-shirt and that whole thing. And Roman Reigns swerving us and giving him the honorary Us t-shirt. That was top tier in terms of moments. And they've had other good moments here and there, but that was definitely the best one. Since then, I don't think any moment has lived up until the one that we got here today, for multiple reasons. So first and foremost, we had after the match, after Sami Zayn and Solo Sikoa got the loss, we saw everybody in the bloodline essentially arguing. Everybody was out there except for Roman Reigns. He wasn't out there yet. So all the guys are arguing. You got Jimmy and Jay going at it, getting in each other's face. And then finally, Roman Reigns' music hits and he comes out. And this is what I find funny, and I'm glad that commentary made a mention to this, because they're fighting, they're arguing, things are not looking good for the sanity and the peace of the bloodline. Roman Reigns comes out and he has the world's longest entrance, and he takes his time, man. He does everything like it's goddamn WrestleMania, and he's sinking in the whole moment of the entrance. I mean, he is taking his time, and I was sitting there thinking like, bro, your family, there's friction. Get in there. Come on, Roman. Let's kick this off. And I thought it was funny because commentary was like, he's taking his time. He's going to do things when he wants to do things. So I liked that commentary caught that and that they actually made a mention of that, because if you're a viewer, I'm sure a couple of people probably thought that. I mean, if I thought it, I'm pretty sure some other people thought it as Roman Reigns was making his way down there. Okay, so that was one thing. Then they go to commercial. So there's all this friction and they go to commercial before Roman Reigns even gets inside the ring. So I thought, okay, fine. That's very WWE. For once in a situation like this, I would like it if they did like a whole, oh my God, Roman Reigns is super pissed off. We were supposed to go to a commercial, but the tribal chief, he has things to say and he wants to say them now. So, kind of like play it off like you were going to go to commercial and then you don't go to commercial. And then obviously, time it out so that you do go to commercial when you have to. But for once, I would like it to be like that just so it won't look so overproduced, right? But whatever. So finally, we come back from commercial, we get in there, and Roman Reigns, and this is where I found this is very, very awkward, but it's awkward because it's not natural, but I guess it kind of works for who Roman Reigns is, okay? So Roman Reigns is, they're all standing like they always do, staring at the camera, and Roman Reigns is like talking about how the bloodline, they're acting like kids, and if you want to act like kids, well, I'm going to treat you like kids. And he's punishing them. But as he's punishing them, he's talking directly like into the mic instead of like looking at them and acknowledging them. He doesn't acknowledge them at all. I mean, clearly, because people are only supposed to acknowledge Roman Reigns. But it was kind of creepy. And I was watching that and I was like, dude, Roman Reigns is so pissed off at his guys. He ain't even looking at them. He's scolding them, but directly to the camera. So it is a little bit awkward how that was kind of done, but I guess it kind of works for who Roman Reigns is. So whatever. That wasn't even the good part. So after this, Sami Zayn kind of snaps a little bit and he tells Jay, you know what? I'm just tell me why. What did I do to you? What did I do to you that you hate me so much? Like, let's just bury the hatchet. And so Sami Zayn is just so good at what he does in terms of like I took like 100 screenshots of his face during all of this because he has a really good sad face. Like he has the really good SpongeBob face. By that, I mean, when SpongeBob is doing the crying face and you've seen all those memes and he looks so sad and you're like, oh, that's so sad. SpongeBob is crying. Where like even Squidward will feel bad because SpongeBob looks sad. That is exactly what Sami Zayn is. He has the SpongeBob face. And then when he's really happy, he's really happy. That's the best way that I can describe Sami Zayn's facial reactions. Whatever. So we're at the part here where Sami Zayn is asking Jey Uso why they just can't bury the hatchet. And Jey Uso comes at him with a line that I freaking love so much. He just looks at him and he goes, I don't like you. I don't like your hair. I don't like your face. And I don't like the shirt that you wear. And then he called him a fake member of the bloodline, says he's not even an Uso, and basically buries the title of the honorary Uso. And then this is where he ends up putting his foot in his mouth because Sami tells him like, dude, I just want peace. I'm just trying to be the peacemaker here. This is what the tribal chief wants. And then Jey Uso has the gall, the audacity to say he doesn't care about what the tribal chief wants. And in that moment, you just get a really great shot of Roman Reigns looking up and going, this motherfucker. I mean, he doesn't really say that, but that's the face he had. Like he was freaking pissed. So Roman Reigns is pissed off at Jey Uso. So he tells Jey Uso that basically gets in his face, and to piss him off, he tells him, you know what? We're making Sami Zayn a full-time Uso. And he puts Sami Zayn over, and he's no longer just an honorary Uso. He's full-time. I forgot verbatim what Roman Reigns says. And then he goes on to say, you know what? He is now Sami Uso. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen. On October 28th, we now have the birth of Sami Uso. And this was great because during this, you had moments where the bloodline was breaking character. It was super obvious. Like once you actually go back and watch their reactions, instantly it was more obvious with Jey Uso for me because he had to cover his mouth and he's like, trying to hold it in. And even Roman Reigns is trying to like have him keep it together. Like he puts his arm around him and, tries to play it off. But the dude just wants to burst out laughing. And Sami Zayn's reactions were freaking chef's kiss, man. They were really freaking great. So this is just getting to the point now where, I really do think that whenever this whole thing culminates, whenever they have Sami Zayn eventually be like, you know what, screw you guys, I'm freaking done with you. It's going to really be this big event because they have really just done a good job of just telling the story. And here's the thing, like I remember there was a certain point before Sami Zayn got involved with the Bloodline where there were a lot of people on social media that were kind of just over Roman Reigns, and they were over Roman Reigns. They were over the Bloodline. I saw so much criticism that people were bored with Roman Reigns and the Tribal Chief and saying that he pretty much went out there and did the exact same thing. And ever since they incorporated Sami Zayn into this and they've started this whole story, I have seen way less of those comments. And I haven't seen not one person shit on this Sami Zayn storyline with the Bloodline. Like I haven't seen any of it. I'm sure it's out there, but I haven't seen any of it. And so that should kind of just tell you how good and how detrimental Sami Zayn has been to this whole story. I think that he has shown how valuable he is, that Roman Reigns, who's literally doing like the best character work of his life, and he's undisputed champion and this and that, and Sami Zayn is in there, hanging in there with the best of them. So this is great stuff, and I just think that Sami Zayn deserves his flowers here. This was definitely my favorite thing of the night for sure. And I really loved how they just followed it up, how they've been following this story up. And I can't wait to see them come up with more creative ways to do just stuff with Sami and all of that. All right, let's see what people are saying. Did you guys love this as much as I did? Let's get some thoughts here. We got Heidi Ho, the bot, who says Roman's entrance is still shorter than Denise's dong. Oh man, I did not see that coming. I did not see that coming at all. And you also didn't see you did see my dong coming, but no, man, that took off, guys. That really took off. I think like it was seen on Twitter over 35,000 times. And that's just Twitter. We haven't even included podcast numbers, YouTube numbers, and God knows wherever the hell else Sean put that video up. No idea. I think it was even on TikTok. God, there goes my career as a serious news reporter. Career done and dead. Can you imagine me going to like a very, very serious like news website and being like, yes, I would love to talk about this, and that. And I'm Denise Salcedo and I'm a very professional girl. And then they Google me and it's like penis stuff everywhere. Heidi Ho, the bot, thank you for the generous super chat. Let's get in some more comments in here. And I love that everybody enjoyed the SpongeBob reference. Touch of Gray sends in a super chat saying, this storyline gives me Jericho Kevin Owens vibes. Love this segment. Yeah, totally see it. Totally see it. Thank you so much for bringing that up too. And those are some of that's, obviously remember how hot that was. Stuff like this, it just works, man. It just works. I'm glad to freaking see it happen for Sami Zayn here. Thank you so much to Touch of Gray for sending in that super chat. Ebony Prince says, hi, Denise. Have a nice weekend here. Something. Thank you so much to Ebony Prince. I really enjoy this sweet comment that you put. Chris Ludek sends in a super chat saying, when Jay told Sami he didn't like his hair, his shirt, or face, it reminded me of what my ex-girlfriend said to me that past summer when we broke up. Chris, I'm sorry, man. I'm really sorry you had to get broken up like that. The common thing, the nice thing to do is just to say, it's not you, it's me. That's it. That's all she had to say. I'm very sorry, Chris. I'm very sorry to hear that. Thank you for the super chat. All right. We got a comment here from Grande Hero who says Sami is doing the best work of his career. Just his facial expressions alone was telling the story. He is so funny that Wade was on commentary making excuses for why they were breaking character. Dude, I was so into everything that they were doing in the ring that I wasn't even listening to commentary. I cannot tell you one thing that commentary said throughout this Sami Zayn Roman Reigns situation. Can't remember any of it because I was just listening to Sami Zayn and all of that stuff, man. Sam Fine says, Steiner Math Denise, Penis Denise, so many professionals. I'm going to choke on my own saliva now. Thanks. It's terrible. All right. Moving on from here, we got Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston versus Mansoor and whatever the hell their names are. God, I don't even care. I don't even care. There's nothing to say about this. There is absolutely nothing to say about this match. Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston got the win. Congratulations. Mansoor, Mansoor, what are they even called? Maximum Male Models. I forgot their own names. I mean, there's nothing. There's nothing to say. I'm sorry. There's nothing. All right. I'm skipping that. Moving on. I'm moving on to Ronda's Open Challenge. This is, unfortunately, I will say that this was the start of SmackDown was really good. We got a good moment here in the Ronda. We got a good moment, but not the entire thing was great. I'll talk more about that afterwards. But then the end of the show was good. But everything in the middle, this is the part of SmackDown where it really wasn't that good. So, bear with me here. Finally, we get the Ronda does an Open Challenge. And you know what? It's interesting because I can't figure out whether or not Ronda is working right now as a champion. Like, I can't figure it out. And the reason for that is I don't feel like the crowd today didn't really give me any signs, any signal of whether or not this is working. So she comes out there, and I thought she had some pretty good lines. Last week she had a backstage promo that she did, and I remember her having a really good line that I remember talking about on last week's show. And then this week she had another one where she says that only greatness can recognize greatness, and she says that the people can't recognize her greatness because we're all mediocre. So I'm like, just say it. We're mid. We're mid, Ronda. That's how you say it. We're mid. So that's basically what she's been doing since she got the championship, is basically saying, she's great, she's wonderful, and we don't know anything about it. Cool. I like that. I'm totally here for that. And then she finally goes in and, issues her Open Challenge, and we get Emma, Tennille Dashwood. The reports were already out there that she was going to be, basically coming into WWE, and she did. So Emma is back, and here's the thing. I need to ask the chat here a question, because Michael Cole during this mentioned the fact that Emma was released. He literally said it, like, 5 years to this day, Emma was released from WWE, and now she's back and she returns for an opportunity. I don't remember them saying that. Was this one of the first times, or one of the rare times, that they've actually said that they released somebody and that they're back in the company? Because I don't remember them saying, this person, was released and they're back now. Usually it's like, if the person was released and they're back, it's like, so-and-so returns. Woo, clouds and rainbows. It's never, we freaking kicked this person, we kicked them out and now they're back. Like, they never, I don't recall them mentioning the releases in the past. So I'm curious to see if maybe there was somebody that I had forgotten, because Bray Wyatt kind of mentioned it on his promo, but he didn't mention like, I don't remember verbatim, but I don't remember him saying like, it was released. He basically says that his life was going downhill and all of that, and he lost everything, that and that. But that was different. And in this situation, I just don't remember there being a situation where commentary actually said, we released this person. And hey, they're back. Let me see what we got here. Sam Fine says this was the first time ever. Zeno Hour says Cole mentioned Cross was released. See, I don't remember that. And the Kyopet says it's rare for them to say it. They used to do it often. The most famous being the Ultimate Warrior. And obviously, I'm talking with, recent releases. Like, I'm talking about like COVID releases, since they started doing those COVID mass releases. Like the first one that they did, like 2020 and all of that. Yeah, okay. See, it is rare, because it wouldn't have stood out to me if it wasn't rare, is what I'm trying to get at. This is from Jonathan, who says, didn't in SummerSlam Corey Graves say Dakota Kai was released and she returned in SummerSlam? See, I don't remember that. It did not legitimately stand out to me until today. Ray Rodrigo sends in a super chat. Thank you so much to Ray, who says, you're starting to go through these matches like Jim Cornette would, which makes me love you even more. Call them like you see them. Look, I don't want to be negative about anything, guys. Like that's not what I try to do on here. Really, I don't. But there are some things where I legitimately have nothing to say, where I don't want to sugarcoat and pretend like, oh yeah, this was great. Woo! I'm not going to do that either. There's just some things that there's just not much to add, and I don't want to waste my time or waste your time talking about something that doesn't matter, when we can spend more time talking about things that do matter. Regardless, thank you so much to Ray Rodrigo for the super chat. Very much appreciated. All right, so we got more people saying, Grande Hero says, didn't they mention Dexter being released? I think that one was more in storyline, though. That one was more in storyline. Okay, let's continue on here. I guess we're not going to really know for sure unless we go back and actually pull out a clip and be like, oh yes, Michael Cole said it here. Anyway, so Emma's back, and Michael Cole does mention that 5 years to the day Emma was released, and now she's back for an opportunity. The match was fine. Honestly, the match was perfectly fine. Emma had some really great moments where she did the tarantula. The crowd reacted for that, which was good. Ronda getting her with those knees while she had her face down on the apron and Ronda was on the outside with those knees. Really liked that too. It was a nice little lengthy match, but the thing that I did notice was the crowd did not seem interested in this at all. I mean, they had a little reaction when Ronda came out. They had a reaction when Emma came out. But for the match itself, I mean, I was looking at the crowd and trying to see, and everybody was just like, just there. There was no reaction to it. Ronda rakes the eyes of Emma. She gets her with the Piper's Pit. She locks in the armbar. She wins via submission because Emma taps. Other than that, there was nothing else there. Like, that's the thing for me, is that I'm wondering, something needs to spice up this Ronda Rousey SmackDown Women's Championship run. And she needs a big opponent, like an important opponent, someone that feels to the caliber of Ronda Rousey. And right now it's like, she's going out there, and I like the open challenge, and I hope that they, continue to do this so that, I know there's reports. I know PW Insider reported that Chelsea Green may be headed to WWE. If that's the case, I would love to see Chelsea Green debut in a match against Ronda Rousey. That would be pretty cool, just like Emma did. I'd be so interested in that. And it did add, like, I like seeing Emma against Ronda Rousey today because obviously it's fresh. We haven't seen Emma and Ronda Rousey. So it felt exciting to see that, which is why I was a little bit surprised by the lack of crowd reaction. So yeah, in terms of that, I was interested in this, but it would have helped for the crowd to be interested in it as well. But then again, you can't force people to be interested in something. If they're not interested, you got to make them interested in what you're putting out there. So anyways, excited to see what Emma does on SmackDown and how they're going to play that up. They just need to keep building more opponents. They need to keep building women that are credible for your champions. Ronda Rousey, your champion right now, they need to keep building them up so that these things can feel, just so that they can also just make your champion even better. So anyways, that's kind of where we're at with all of that. All righty. And this is from a comment from Leonard Aarons III, who, sends in a comment saying, that's the problem. SmackDown super light on the women's side. They need more recognizable names, not a bunch of obscure returns. Most fans really don't or won't care about it immediately, if at all. Like, I feel like no matter what, you're always going to get reactions when people come back, because it's like, oh, yay, like this person's back. Woo, like you're going to get a reaction for that. But then after that, it could easily die down like it did here with Ronda and Emma. So hopefully they, it's going to depend on, I think it's going to be a case by case basis, but either way, they just need to put Ronda in a hot program. Cause right now there is no hot program for Ronda, and that's what's missing. And for those asking, yes, Tenille Dashwood. For a couple of people who had a question there on what Emma I was talking about. And this is from Ray Rodrigo, who mentions Charlotte Flair, saying she's waiting for Charlotte. And even then, like, I know a lot of people are not going to be happy about that. Like, we already know the conversation surrounding that. People are going to be like, all right, same old, Ronda Rousey and Charlotte. But Charlotte's a big name, so it will be, interesting for some people. But there needs to be more than just one option, right? There needs to be more than one option. Ray, thank you so much for the super chat. Much appreciated. Alrighty, so here we go. And Steven wants to know, where does Emma go from here? Well, she's part of the roster now. So, they can, and you know what? Let me pull the trying to see who was even how many women do we even have on the SmackDown roster? Like, I'm thinking right now who we even have. Give me a second. We have Aaliyah, and she's injured right now, so she's gone for a bit. B-Fab, she's more of a, valet manager person. Charlotte Flair, who's gone right now. I was about to say Kayla Braxton. She's an interviewer. Lacey Evans. I don't even know what's up with Lacey Evans right now. What is Lacey Evans doing? Did I see Lacey Evans today? I don't even remember. Liv Morgan, who's, she just finished that whole rendezvous as champion, and now she's, crazy Liv. Cool. So Liv Morgan, Maxine Dupree, but I'm not really counting her because she is also more of a managerial type of person. They have Naomi on the roster, but we already know what that whole thing's about. So, that doesn't count either. Natalia, she got taken out today by Shayna. Oh, yeah, that's right. That happened backstage. She was confronting Natty Natty confronted Ronda and told her that she would have defeated Ronda Rousey in this open challenge. And then Shayna just goes, knocks her out. So that was really fast. Raquel Rodriguez. Okay, she's another one. Scarlett. Sasha's not there. Shayna, we just mentioned her. Shotzi. Shotzi's like the only other person. Xia Li, Zelina Vega's kind of doing her thing now. Legado. It is very, very Sonya. It is very slim pickings, guys. It is slim pickings. There's not very many options. Not very many options there. Oh man, it's actually a little bit worse than I thought. There's no options. Oh man. All right. Oof. Okay. Moving on from this, guys, because now I'm just bummed out. We need more women. We need more women on the freaking SmackDown side of things. Like, I knew it was light. I knew there was not very many options, but we need more. I'm glad. Now I'm even happier to see Emma there. I'm even happier. So build her up, get her some wins, let her personality shine through, and let's get her going. And if Chelsea Green's headed there too, same thing. Get her some wins, let her show her personality, let her show her hot mess self. Let's get something going, honestly. All right, so let's go ahead and move on from here. After this, we had a 6-man tag match, which was Shinsuke, Top Dollar, and Ashanti the Adonis. Shinsuke was the surprise person that came in and essentially helped them out, and they took on Legado del Fantasma. This was okay. This was a fine match. This was really just Shinsuke Nakamura going in there and pretty much doing the majority of the work. He had a really great interaction with Santos Escobar. Santos Escobar at one point just like slaps him across the face, and Shinsuke Nakamura's like, nah, dude, this ain't gonna fly with me, and just gives him a bunch of combo strikes and all of this and that. And finally, with a little help from Top Dollar doing his I think he calls it his Downtown 3. The only problem that I had with the Downtown 3 was that Santos Escobar was there holding his arm for like what felt like 5 minutes. He was there for a really long time. And so at one point you're thinking, okay, dude, you got to do it. Like, hurry up and execute this move, because Santos Escobar is just literally standing there. I'm like, you can paint a picture. Y'all looking like a statue. Like, execute the move faster, because there was just too much where you could, like, as a viewer, I'm thinking, why is Santos Escobar just standing there? He should be moving, getting out of the way, trying to avoid it, trying to stop it, right? Not waiting there for the move to actually happen. So that's the only thing that I would say is don't take so long doing that, this downtown three. Do not take so long doing that, because if not, it just makes the other person look silly. Makes the whole thing look silly. Shinsuke hits the Kinshasa and gets the win. So thumbs up there. Nothing much else to add. Andrew Buckley says Shinsuke being everyone's mystery opponent is fun to me. That's right, because he was on NXT and he went in there and faced Stacks? Channing Stacks Lorenzo. Yeah, Channing Stacks Lorenzo. I always forget because there's Channing Stacks Lorenzo and then there's Dimes. Dimes is the one that got released. So it's Channing Stacks Lorenzo. And he was the one, he wrestled him and he was the mystery opponent for that. Yeah. All right, guys, moving on. We had Karrion Kross versus Madcap Moss. This was rough. This was rough because the crowd was not into this match. They were not into it. I don't know what to say. They just were not into it. And this match was okay. It was this is exactly what you would expect from Karrion Kross versus Madcap Moss. Nothing out of the ordinary, nothing extra special. But the crowd did not care. They did not care. And it showed. It definitely showed here. And that's been the major issue when Kross is not in there with, Drew McIntyre and, they're not beating the living shit out of each other. The interest, there seems to be a lack of connection. The crowd doesn't seem to react to Kross. They don't react. They just don't react. And we've been seeing it before and we're seeing it again. And it sucks because I thought that things would be different now for Kross, especially, they added Scarlett again. They're, doing all of these things. They're adding, all these bells and whistles to the whole presentation of Karrion Kross. But when it comes to the in-ring stuff, it's just like, lights out, let's go on our phones type of deal. And so this was a little bit rough because you just knew that nobody was really all that invested into this. And then afterwards, he's, choking out Madcap Moss and he's cutting a promo to Drew McIntyre, basically saying, you're a coward and Madcap Moss is better than you. And they're going to have their match at Crown Jewel. So there you go. That was that. But yeah, I feel bad, man. Poor Nikki says someone expected something out of Kross versus Moss. And here's the thing. I like both of these guys. I really do. Like Madcap Moss, I've seen glimpses of them when things have been working for Madcap Moss. There was a moment where it kind of felt like people were, when he was feuding with when he finally broke up with Happy Corbin and they stopped doing that whole nonsense that they were doing for a while, there was a moment where the crowd were like, okay, you know what? We're like you, Madcap Moss. Now that you're not making these dumb, silly jokes and you're not glued to the hip of Baron Corbin, we like you. You're kind of funny. You're kind of a nice guy. We can root for you. But then, but with this one, it didn't happen. There was no connection. There was no love at first sight here. Nothing, no sparks. No sparks are flying here. Touch of Gray sends in a super chat saying, to be fair, a lot of crowds these days are just into the entrances and finishes. WWE trained that. I don't know. I feel like here's the thing, the crowd, they like the big moments. Obviously you're going to react when your favorite wrestler comes out and you're like, yeah, I like that guy. Woo. If the finish is fun, people are going to react to that. If there's a promo and somebody says something really clever, really funny, people are going to react to that. But when I was just at the SmackDown in Anaheim, when they just did their last SmackDown here, obviously it's a very different crowd. It's not your Twitter crowd. Obviously there's people on Twitter, but people there that are on Twitter, but it's your casuals. It's a lot of casual fans. Okay. And I'm talking families, everything, right? Very, very casual fans, probably people that don't even watch week to week, or maybe they watch sporadically, whatever their situation is. And what I noticed was people react to the fast pace style of wrestling. They reacted to if someone did a freaking cool move, man. Oh, they reacted to that. Bro, there was moments where people were reacting to like cross bodies. And for a lot of people, it's like, oh, it's just a crossbody. But for the live audience, it was like, oh shit, that looked really cool. I'm gonna mark out for this. And you saw that. Like I saw it when I was there. And so people do react to what's happening during the match, but you got to make it exciting for them, you know? You got to make the match exciting for them, and they will react. That's why they paid to go to the show. They paid to see wrestling that they're going to enjoy and they're going to have a good freaking time. Like that's the thing. Even if somebody's not over, they're going to get excited about it. Like why do you think so many people, like casual wrestling fans that watch the show, they'll be like, oh yeah, you know what? I like that dude Ricochet because Ricochet does cool moves, you know? And if you talk to those casual fans, they're going to have very different taste. So yeah, I mean, you can do a whole conversation about this, but it is very noticeable in terms of what people are immediately drawn to, especially families and, you know, casual viewers. They have very different, you know, reactions to things. But thank you so much to Touch of Grey for sending in that super chat, by the way. Alrighty, let's get into the last portion of the show for SmackDown, which is Bray Wyatt. So this is the one that I was saying earlier that I saw the chat was a little bit 50-50. Some people like what they're seeing with Bray Wyatt, and some people don't like what they're seeing with Bray Wyatt. So whatever side you're on, it's cool. We're going as we go and see what the hell is going down, right? Because there's still so many questions. Obviously, there's still a lot of mystery surrounding Bray Wyatt and what his new purpose is, I guess you can say, his new purpose, or what the story is going to be, right? So early, also today on The Observer, Dave put out that Bray Wyatt has officially now surpassed the Bloodline as top merchandise seller. And supposedly there's been talks about whether or not they're going to have Bray Wyatt get involved with Roman Reigns. And I know everybody's like, no, because we don't want him to get near the title, this and that. They don't need to do that. But considering how hot Bray Wyatt is, I'm not surprised that that's a conversation. So that's kind of the latest with Bray. But anyways, so he comes out there and he just says, this feeling is completely new to me. Can you guys feel that? He starts talking about the adrenaline that he's feeling, and he starts doing his little Bray Wyatt laugh. And then he says that this is Bray Wyatt, the real man, the best version of me that I will ever be. He says he's proud to be here today, and he's gonna do some spectacular things while he's here. But then, so he starts off as being grateful and happy to be there, and oh my god, thank you so much. And then he shifts into something else, and I think that's something important to mention. He shifts. He goes from I'm so proud to be here and can you guys feel the adrenaline to I don't have emotions. And I don't work like most people, and I go into a dark place, and there are times where I don't feel anything at all. Then he says he's had to do horrible things to get where he is right now, but that sometimes he likes doing those horrible things. And then we get the same video montage that we get. The lights go out, and we see on the video a person who is being called Uncle Howdy. And we see a man with interesting features. And there's a lot of theories as to who this is, who this isn't, whatever. But we get, the blonde hair, a crab-like mustache. I don't know how to describe it, but it looks like crab's legs. Like, those little crab legs that you eat, the crabs, the crabs. It looks like there's two crab legs, but as mustaches. So, there's people wondering if this is Barry Windham. There are people wondering, who is it? What is this Uncle Howdy thing supposed to be? I don't know what this Uncle Howdy thing is going to be. I'm intrigued. I know there are some people that are like, oh, this is so cheesy. This is so corner. This is BS. I get it. But this is the thing, though. We knew that something like this was coming. We had already seen glimpses of this. And given that, we're getting Bray Wyatt, this new version of Bray Wyatt, his new era, if you want to call it that, something new had to come along with it. And that new thing is Uncle Howdy. Now, what Uncle Howdy's intentions are, I have no idea. If are Uncle Howdy and Bray Wyatt friends? Are they feuding? Do they have beef? I don't know. I don't even think I understand. I don't understand. Oh, well, let me rephrase that. I half understood what Uncle Howdy was talking about today. Like, I don't like when they do videos where it's not very clear with what they're saying and it's like more than you can barely hear, you barely make out the words. I don't like that because I want to be able to understand what's happening there. But anyways, that's the Uncle Howdy concept. How Uncle Howdy and Bray Wyatt connect, that's to be seen. And I'm curious to see what your theories are and what you think of the Uncle Howdy character. I feel for me, it's too early to even say if I like it or if I hate it. I almost have no reaction to it. I more so just want to know how it's going to play out. So we'll see what we got. Heidi Ho says, I want to grow a crab leg mustache. Now go back and look at it. In fact, I think I may still have the picture here. Let me upload the picture because trust me, he has a crab leg mustache. Like I feel like dipping his mustache in butter and taking a bite. Cause bro, look at that. Tell me, look on the left side of this photo. Tell me that does not look like a crab leg. It does. It totally looks like a crab leg. Anyways, you're welcome. Now everybody's craving seafood now. All right. And we got more people saying, Zeno Hour also says, definitely looks like Barry Windham. I was looking at it and I could kind of see it in the, let me pull up the picture one more time. I could kind of see it in the cheeks, a little bit in the eyes. The nose, I can't really tell too much. But I would say more so in the cheeks. But then at the same time, the cheeks also kind of they almost look like a little bit fake. They look like there's prosthetics. So I don't know, maybe it's the lighting and the hair and the extra special effects and the makeup and all of that. But it almost makes it look like it's not like a real face. Like obviously it's a real face, but it almost looks like it has prosthetics. But if you go back and look at Barry Windham's cheeks, he does kind of have like a little bit of that. Like maybe this one in the picture here looks a little bit too perky, but he does kind of have a little bit of the cheek going on there. But then again, you got the lighting and the makeup and stuff, but you could kind of see it a little bit in there. We got some people saying PCO. What did I say? Someone said Denise LOL and phrasing. I probably said something. Ooh. I don't know what I said. All right. But there's some people saying PCO. I don't know. I would probably say more so with Barry for sure. But there you go. We'll get some more comments as we continue on from here. All right, guys, before we move into Rampage, because Rampage is going to be a very quick review. I'm going to be lucky if I get 5 minutes out of Rampage today. Before we do that, I just want to give you guys a heads up that I will be back next week. As always, you guys already know the drill, but for the new listeners, new viewers, Tuesdays I'm here to talk about NXT. I was going to say 2.0, but it's no longer 2.0. I'm here to talk about NXT, and we've kind of grown a little family. I feel like there's a niche audience now for NXT and the people that have stuck around to watch. Thank you very much for being those people if you are. Wednesdays is usually my most popular show of the week, and that's where we cover AEW Dynamite. And make sure you guys tune in for that one. Fridays, most chill show of the week because you never know what's going to go down. We talk SmackDown and Rampage. So there you go. Let's get into Rampage. Here we go. Man, you know what? Like, there's only so much to say about today's show. I didn't really think there was a whole lot, but there's a couple of things. So we'll get into it. We opened up the show with Moxley versus Matt Menard. This was okay. This was a fine little matchup here. The only thing that Moxley gets the win with the Bulldog choke. So really straightforward, I would say, in terms of a match. I didn't really think it was anything special. It was just a match. But I will say this, though. I'm going to give it a pro. And the pro is that we got Jon Moxley, our champ, on Rampage. One of the things that I was talking about, or that Will and I were talking about on After the Week, was how it doesn't really feel like they put their big stars on the show. It feels like they kind of downgraded in terms of who you're seeing on the show. And so I'm glad that they actually put Jon Moxley here because, at least it obviously he's your champ. He's a big star. So it does kind of make things feel a little bit more, it makes Rampage feel a little bit more special. However, I will say this though. I like that they want, and they should, because I think they should do this, is make Jon Moxley a workhorse champion. Oh, 100% down with that. But I would like to see bigger names as his opponents. Bigger, just, I feel like Matt Menard, I just think there needs to be bigger names. If you're going to have Moxley on Rampage, it should be a little bit more worth it by putting him in there with bigger names. And so that's kind of how I feel about this one. Because if not, it's almost like you don't care. Like, no one's going to buy that Matt Menard is going to defeat Jon Moxley. Like, you might as well put him in there with like Fuego del Sol or I don't know, just somebody, right? Danhausen at this point. That person's not going to defeat Jon Moxley. I want to see maybe somebody that is a little bit higher up on the roster in terms of actually believing that this person, you know what, may or may not possibly be Jon Moxley. I don't know. So that is my one little gripe with this one here. Post-match, we have Stokely Hathaway come out, and I liked this because he's wanted to, he says that we're going to get a match between Lee Moriarty and Jon Moxley. But what I like what he did was that he basically told us, like, hey, you're going to watch this video and of who Lee Moriarty is. But I like the way that he set it up, because usually when they do stuff like this, you're like, oh, we got to watch a video. Like, can you guys just do what you need to do? But credit to Stokely, because he said, I know you've been hit in the head very many times and you're a special type of visual learner. So this is who Lee Moriarty is. And so it didn't bother me because of the way that Stokely Hathaway set up the video presentation for Lee Moriarty versus Jon Moxley. So there you go. We need to talk about the tournament, but before we do, we got a super chat here from R3. 3S3M. Thank you so much for sending in a super chat. R3 says, watching the Phillies in the World Series and missed both of the shows. Thanks for the recap, Denise. You are welcome. And for whatever team you're rooting for, good luck for the team that you're rooting for. Sorry, I'm not up to date with sports. I'm a little bit behind. Although I am a casual sports viewer. I do cheer for the Oakland Athletics, and I like to go to Dodgers games when it comes to baseball. And I do understand the game too. So there's that. But I'm not like a hardcore fan by any means. So I'm a casual. I'm a casual. I'm the person that goes to the games maybe like once a year and then watches like the playoffs only if the team I'm rooting for is actually in it. If not, I probably won't watch. But thank you either way for the super chat. Seriously, it's much appreciated. Alrighty, and we got another super chat here from Uriel Landeros, who says, hate to be a downer, but Rampage was even weaker than usual. Don't know if you'll be at the LA show, but my kid and I are going. Gracias for the content. Thank you, Uriel. And yeah, I do agree with you. I didn't think this was a good episode of, there was some decent stuff, but overall, I didn't think it was, like a must-see episode, right? And that's the problem. You want to make it must-see because think about it. And I know this person is maybe not the person's name you want to hear right now, but think about it. This is the show where we got freaking CM Punk debuting. CM Punk debuted on a Rampage. Think about that. This show should have a little bit more. Anyways, yes, I will be at the LA show. I'll definitely not miss it, and I'll do the same thing that I did last time, is go live immediately after the show. I do not live far from the forum. I live very close to the forum, so makes things so much easier for me. Seriously, I have no idea. Thank you, Uriel, for the kind super chat. Okay, so now let's go ahead and get into the tournament as well. So they officially announced the title eliminator tournament that they're doing here. Let me pull this graphic up really quickly. Not that it matters because it's an empty graphic. But here we go. So they have the world title eliminator tournament. Obviously, the winner receiving a title match at Full Gear. And we got 1, 2, 4, 6, 8. So we're gonna have 8 guys in this. Wait, I'm not counting right. 2, 4, 6, 8. 8 times 2. Oh my God, I'm really bad at math. 16. Jesus Christ, I'm embarrassed. Oh my God, I'm not a math person. We're gonna have guys in it. So far, the only people that we know that are in it so far are, I'm ashamed right now. Like my face is turning red because I can't do math. Dante Martin. Dante Martin and Ethan Page are officially the people that have been named in this bracket. There was a lot of guys. Oh my God, I cannot count. I'm so embarrassed right now. I can't even get my mind back on track. All right. So they haven't announced, everybody else that's going to be in this tournament. I was asking people who they want to be in this tournament, who they think is going to be in this tournament. I got a lot of Ricky Starks. I got quite a couple of answers here of who people want to see. And I should have probably had that ready and pulled that up here. Let me get some thoughts here of what people wanted. But I had a lot of Miro, Ricky Starks, Bandito, so many Ricky Starks, Malachi, Hobbs, who we saw later on in the night, who was freaking jacked the hell up, man. We got Yuta's name thrown in here, Eddie Kingston's name thrown in here, more Ricky Starks thrown in here, Mike Bennett, it was one of the names that was thrown in here as well. Pac Penta. Try to get some more thoughts in here. More Malachi Blacks in here. Brian Danielson. I mean, there's a lot of options here. But the point that I'm trying to get at here is that right now, so far with the names that are announced, Dante Martin and Ethan Page, I like both of them, but you know that they're not going to be, in the title match. So I was kind of hoping that they would announce a big name right off the bat or just announce everybody that was going to be in it. I kind of prefer that a little bit more than just getting like one or two names, but the two names that you're not really thinking like that they have a real shot of actually winning the tournament. So, I think this would have felt like a bigger deal had they put all the names already or given us like one really big name that is going to be part of this tournament. Because you want to know, not you want to know, but like it needs to feel like the people that are in it, I want to have options in terms of I want to be so convinced. I don't want to see the tournament and go, well, none of those guys are winning. Maybe the one or two people there, but definitely that person there, that person's winning. Ain't gonna be no one else. I want to look at it and be like, shit, there's multiple options. I don't know who's gonna win it here. So I wish they would have maybe announced it a little bit more exciting. All right. Jade Cargill has a quick backstage segment in which I personally felt attacked by Jade Cargill. So Jade Cargill's being her fabulous self, working out. She's doing things I could never do. And she's looking great and fit and all of that. And then she's talking about how she's out here doing the work and we're just at home eating potato chips. Literally, the only time I was snacking potato chips during these 3 hours were a minute before that Jade Cargill promo. So I got called out. It was embarrassing. And I just thought to myself, this is why, Denise. This is why you do not look like Jade Cargill. This is why. Stop eating potato chips. We had a quick squash match for Keith Lee. Keith Lee won a quick squash. Nothing to add there. We need to talk about what happened afterwards. What happened afterwards was probably one of the highlights of Rampage today. The Acclaim comes out and they're like, no rap. They're pissed off. Where the fridge is Billy Gunn? They don't know where Billy's at. Turns out Billy Gunn, right before his daddy-ass birthday bash, has been kidnapped. He was kidnapped. And not in the parking lot of the PC. I don't know where, but he was kidnapped by Swerve Strickland. And Swerve was being all creepy and stuff. And we need to talk about what Swerve did to Billy Gunn because I think I may have some confusion. I think there was some confusion here because he takes out some pliers. And I'm thinking, what's he going to do with the pliers? And he basically, you just get the camera shot is you have Billy Gunn in the chair and he has his hands tied behind his back and you have Swerve like creeping up on him like right here. He brings out the pliers and then you just see him go under and just do something And then you just hear Billy Gunn going, ah, and he's screaming in massive pain. And I'm thinking, did he just put the pliers where the sun don't shine? What is happening here? Where did he put those pliers? Why am I seeing this? And then afterwards, we came back to to the in-ring, and commentary's like, oh, he put those pliers in his hands. And I'm thinking, it didn't look like that. If the thing was that he put the pliers in his hands like scissors, and he was attacking the hands of Billy Gunn, it didn't come across that way. It came across an entirely different way. So I'm thinking, should I be really concerned about Billy Gunn right now? Should I be praying for him? What is happening? So I don't think I understood that the way that it was supposed to be intended, or maybe I did understand that. I have no idea. What is the theories here? What is the theory? Because I don't know. Here we go. Let's see what we got here. Amir F says basically he can't scissor no more. I mean, I'm guessing he got his the fingers feels like it would be the thing. Are they not pliers? People are saying they're not pliers. Are they not pliers? Are those not pliers? What are they? Someone says they're wire cutters. Whatever they are. I don't use tools. Do I look like a person who uses tools? I don't use tools. All right, I use scissors. And that's as far as I go with tools, okay? I don't use tools at all. I've used a hammer. Maybe a screwdriver one time. Scissors, if that's even counts as a tool. A stapler, and that's about it. And I don't even think you can count a stapler as a tool. I am not doing any work that requires me to use tools. All right. All right. So anyways, Raymungus says, Denise's mind is warped. I took it as maybe his fingers were being broken or cut. See, I didn't see it that way. Okay. This is how I saw it. Exactly here what Dark Lord says. I mean, that's exactly what I thought. I'm just saying, come on, it was not super obvious to me. Zeno Hour says, well, Washington needs to talk to his cousin. Bro, I really need to have a conversation with him about his cousins. For reals. Dante, New York City says he probably broke his fingers. I really hope he went for the fingers and nothing else. Because fingers, oh man, that sucks. Any place else, I'm going to start praying, All right. Well, now that's very awkward. All right. I'm dying at some of the comments here. And I'm not even going to read some of these words. All right. Moving on from this. Confusion. This is what I mean. They should have zoomed out. I think they wanted us to think that, right? He's daddy ass. Why wouldn't you think it? They should have zoomed out so you could at least see him struggling with his fingers and see that the man still has pants on or something. I don't know. Heidi Ho, the bot, says he pinched his taint, obviously. Hey, a little pinch isn't too bad. A little pinch is harmless. Or maybe not with pliers. Well, apparently they're not pliers. I don't know what the hell they are. All right. That's what I'm going to do next. I'm going to study tools. All right. Moving on from here. Ty Melo versus Madison Rayne. Very straightforward match here. Ty wins with the Ty KO. I keep wanting to say Ty KO. Fine little match there. I like the little story that they were going with. She's the wrestling coach. She's the sports entertainer. Harmless. TNT Championship match. We had Matt Taven versus Wardlow. This was Matt Taven's first match on AEW. And this was definitely the best match that we saw on Rampage tonight, for sure. I'll start off by saying that I'm happy that ever since the Brian Cage match that the Brian Cage match and this Matt Taven match, we're starting to see a different Wardlow match. We're not seeing the same Wardlow match that we've been seeing over and over again. So I'm happy about that. Very happy about that because I was tired of seeing the same Wardlow match. So they switched things up with this one. They gave Matt Taven a lot of offense in here. He had a really great crossbody at one point, a really great frog splash, some really great moments throughout this match. When he was getting the Powerbomb Symphony, Bennett tried going in there and he easily got scared, so he didn't get involved. So I'm like, okay, well, now you just I think he should have tried to get involved so that I don't know. I didn't like the cowardly way that he took out. I think he should have not been a coward about it, and he should have probably helped out his partner there, or at least tried to help out his partner a little bit more, but he didn't. So that wasn't the best look for the Kingdom there. Whatever. So Wardlow hits the Powerbomb Symphony, gets the win here. Fine match, okay? Fine match. Good main event for Rampage. Happy to see Wardlow get a win and happy to see Wardlow have a different match. I'm looking forward to see what the Kingdom is going to be doing in AEW. So far, it hasn't been too great of a start because we hadn't really seen them. And then the first thing that we see, one of the members in Matt Taven, he loses. So, and then Mike Bennett didn't look he barely helped out his partner. Like he was scared of Wardlow. So, probably doesn't look, it's not screaming great news right now. But it's fine. It's fine. After this, we did have my favorite part of all of Rampage was Samoa Joe running out there. I love seeing Samoa Joe run out. It was the best part. You don't believe me? Go back and watch that part. Samoa Joe runs out. He helps out his buddy Wardlow because he's outnumbered by the Kingdom. And then Powerhouse Hobbs comes in. He comes in looking jacked, man. He is jacked. And he was already big and muscular and beefy and all of that. But like he grew. He grew. He definitely grew. So he's looking good. Looking really good. Good for him. I'm sure it's a lot of work. So good for him. So he comes out there. He ends up distracting Samoa Joe. Probably Samoa Joe is thinking the same thing, like, oh man, this guy looks good. And then he gets attacked by the embassy from behind. So that's how we have Rampage close out there. Man, I think for me, I'm still not fully as interested in the embassy as we're supposed to. I kind of just see it as like, oh, the embassy. That's it. Nothing else. I feel like we just need to have I don't know. I just think I'm lacking interest with the embassy right now. I'm lacking interest, so it hasn't really, it didn't really feel like a hot ending for me. But that's just me. Let's see what we got here. Burnaby 42 says Bennett knows better than to mess with Wardlow. That's true. He would have just gotten Powerbomb Symphony. Thank you to everybody who says they're wire cutters. That's good to know. I'm going to Google pliers right after this. All right. And let's see what we got here. Kayoput says, even with Joe involved, I have no excitement for this angle. The Kayoput also says, if this is what Wardlow has to do to get back to Dynamite, let's do it. Honestly, like the match itself was fine between Matt Taven and Wardlow. That was good. But that's it. So that was AEW Rampage, guys. That was WWE SmackDown. Overall, you know what? I'm just glad that we got more than, oh, wow, I actually did over an hour. I had no idea. I was really worried that I was only going to come on here and do a 30-minute show. So that's good. All right, everyone. That's a wrap for me here today. Tomorrow I will be at GCW in LA. So that should be fun and good night. So if you guys want to watch some GCW, that'll be happening tomorrow. So you can check that out. And then Sunday I will be back on my YouTube channel for After the Week podcast. And then if not, you guys will just see me here on my normal podcast here on F4W Online. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye, everyone.